اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأجساد وشفائها ونور الأبصار وجلائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم.
Bismillah awwaluhu wa akhiruh. We have some unfinished business from session 2. It was not possible for me to put all the components together in an hour and a half. So without your permission, I decided to take out a certain part of it and relocate it into session 3. And I hope that you would approve of my decision. We ended with that verse from Surah Al-A'raf, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ تأذن ربك ليبعثن عليهم إلى يوم القيامة من يسومهم سوء العذاب. And your Lord God has declared that He will now raise, ba'atha, send against them, Banu Israel in particular, those who will inflict upon them until the last day the worst possible punishment. Su' al-azab. Who are they who are now going to be raised? And when we have understood who are those who are going to be raised, we will understand the reality of the world today. We'll be able to anticipate events that are going to come tomorrow, and we'll then be able to deal with guidance and strategy. The Prophet ﷺ came upon companions of his who were sitting talking amongst themselves. And he asked, what are you talking about? And they said, we are talking about the signs of Akhiru Zaman, the Sa'ah. And then he replied in an answer which is located in Sahih Muslim, that the last hour will not come until, and he mentioned 10 signs. And if I had you as my class, then I could say no dinner for you until you memorize all 10. So you got in the way. These 10 signs have not been given to us in the chronological sequence in which they will occur. No. So not because I mentioned Dajjal first, does it mean that this is the first to occur. The 10 signs are, number 1, Al-Masih al-Dajjal. Al-Masih is Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Al-Masih al-Dajjal is the false Messiah, the one who will seek to impersonate the true Messiah. The Christians call him the Antichrist. Number 2, Gog and Magog, or Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Number 3, which is the sign of all signs, the mother of all signs. Number 3, the return of the son of Mary. Number 4, dukhan, or smoke. Number 5, dabbatul ard, beast or a creature of the ard. Ard means the material universe. Ard means the earth. Ard means the land. Al-Ardul Muqaddasa, the Holy Land. So Dabbatul Ard could be a beast or a creature of the material universe, a beast or a creature of the earth, a beast or a creature confined to the Holy Land, located or tied with the Holy Land. You make your choice. But when the Quran speaks about the beast, it says, and again we have another problem here with punctuation. The punctuation did not come with Jibreel alayhi salam. So in nearly every single copy of the Quran that you put your hands on, you see tukallimuhum, that the beast will speak to them. Whereas if we change the Arab, it will become taklimuhum, will wound them. A beast will wound people. The context is clearly in favor of the second reading rather than the first. Number 6, that the sun would rise from the west. In the Quran, Ibrahim alayhi salam is having a confrontation with a ruler. And the ruler says, "Why should I worship your Lord?" And Ibrahim alayhi salam says, "My Lord gives life and takes life." So the ruler said, "But so do I. Meaning, I can give the order and your life will be taken. And I can spare you. So I can give life and I can take life. To which Ibrahim alayhi salam responded and he says, "Well, my Lord causes the sun to rise from the east. Why don't you cause it to rise from the west?" My Lord causes the sun to rise from the east. If you are truthful, why don't you cause it to rise from the west? So the true sunrise is a sunrise from the east, and a false sunrise would be a sunrise from the west. But Allah also says in the Quran, "La tabdila li khalqillah," that there is no change in Allah's creation. And so we get the scientific principle of the uniformity of nature. Hadith says that the sun will rise from the west. And now we are inundated. The emails keep coming regularly about some gravitational change in the polar structure of the world, and scientific terms Imran Hosein doesn't understand. And they've been coming after me, struggling and struggling and struggling. I don't know who is paying them to do it, to convince me that the sun is actually going to rise from the west, literally. And that's what the hadith says, it's going to rise from the west, literally. And my response is, if that's your belief, well, so be it. I'm afraid I don't agree with you. Would you kindly allow me to hold on to the Quran? The Quran tells me, and my eyes also tell me, that the sun rises from the east. And the Quran tells me that Allah's creation does not change. No. Except that there will come a day when this entire material universe is going to be subjected to something called tabdeel. And it will be transformed into something which will be غَيْرَ الْأَرْضِ وَالسَّمَوَاتِ. So I'm not talking about that event, when the earth is going to pitch out of its bosom all of its burdens, and the earth is going to speak on that day. We're talking about previous to that event. The sun is going to rise from the east in accordance with the Quran, not from the west. And so I understand it to be symbolic language, not to be literally understood. But you don't have to accept my view. No. However, it'll be so nice of you if you respect me. Respect me to allow me to hold the view I want to hold, and don't push it down my throat. I don't do that to you, do I? So you don't do it to me. So number 6, that the sun would rise from the west. And I understand that to be that the world is going to experience what is in fact a false sunrise. A new world order coming into being, which will be exactly opposite to the one that Allah created. Exactly opposite in everything to what Allah has ordained. And I say that world has already come into being. Yes. It's modern Western civilization, which today has taken control of the world. But you don't have to accept my view, and let's not argue over it. Number 7, 8, and 9. 3 khusuf, plural of khas. 3 earthquakes. But these are not just earthquakes. These are movements of the earth which will cause a sinking of the earth. And the earth will swallow what it swallows. One in the east, one in the west, and the third one in Arabia. And number 10, that a fire will come out of Yemen. We have anyone from Yemen? No one from Yemen? Okay. A fire will come out of Yemen and would drive people to their place of assembly, of hashar, for judgment. These are the 10 known as the major signs. And in these 10 major signs you find major actors of Akhiru Zaman and major events of Akhiru Zaman. We want to focus now for a while on Gog and Magog. Why? وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ حَتَّى إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ Suratul, come on somebody, help me. Anbiya, Suratul Anbiya, Surah number 21. Allah speaks of a town which He has destroyed. The people of the town have been exiled, sent out, and He's placed a ban on them. They could never return to reclaim that town as their own until Gog and Magog have been released. Futihat, open.